Well, I mostly work on the phone and or via Skype for people in other countries. All sorts of things. I mean, anything. There's well, I have a client now who used to be a client a long time ago, and she was a great success story because she came to me. I used to have an office in Manhattan. She came. She was very depressed in a really bad space, and basically there was this guy she really loved, and he wasn't mean to her in any way, but he could have been nicer, let's say. And he at the time wouldn't even see her, and all her friends, her psychologist, her psychiatrist, telling her, you got to get away. And I could see in her karma that she was not going to be getting away from this guy. And so I said, you need to change your strategy, get it together and get this guy. And she did, and that they're married, and they don't live in Manhattan anymore. But so I don't know, a few months ago, she got back in touch with me, and they had lived someplace that was not a terrible area, but they thought it was going to get much nicer, and it just went downhill. And she was just struggling a real lot. Her husband at the time was really struggling, and so I just talk to her and tell her what I see. I clear off the negative energy that I see, the negativity, and I mean, they're not poor by any means, so they have more than one residence or more than one home. But where they have to live because of his work is this area that was sort of going downhill, and they couldn't really afford to move to a nicer area because of the situation. And she kept saying, there's no way to find a nicer place for this amount of money. I said, and I knew she was going to find a place. I said, you have to look. And she kept saying, no, there's no way. And I said, you got and I can say to her, just trust me, because she's had a lot of good experience. She goes, I do trust you, I'm going to do it. She happened to meet some realtor who some guy needed to rent out his place, and for basically they moved to a much nicer place that was cheaper than this place. And just other things happened where he was drinking a lot and he stopped drinking, and their life just really got way better within a few months. It's kind of funny because I was saying to her, now you have to practice being happy. She goes, yeah, I know what you mean. I'm so used to not being happy. And so but some people come with physical things, some people with business stuff. I mean, recently there's someone who was out of work for quite a while and heard about me through a friend, and he contacted me, and even during quarantine time he got a job, and it almost seemed like, how did you get a job with this company like during this time, like who's hiring? But he got a really good job. It was kind of cool. Sometimes physical things, it's when I get rid of the negative things around people as much as you can, and then line them up with this thing inside of them that really knows and is really wonderful, and then connect it to this thing outside of them. And I'm using these vague words because it is, anytime we pin it down in our words, it's not as big as it really is. So just cool things happen, Someone called me not too long ago with their little baby. I don't remember how old she is, was really suffering, just crying all night long. And so I just checked what I see spiritually, and this person was blaming it on someone. I go, no, it's not. It's something to do, with someone else. And I could just see what, there's karma. Usually, a lot of times there's things from other lifetimes, and then when you can clear that. So when I can see it, it means it's up to the surface to clear. There's something in our consciousness that it's like wants to learn that lesson so much it almost holds on to the bad things, because part of us is choosing to do that. But when it gets to a certain level, it's like, oh, then you can get that thing off there. And so with this it's not a little baby, I would say a toddler. So once that past life was cleared, she was still crying some at night, but not like this, scary crying through the whole night thing. So.
Wow, I find that so interesting. It's such an amazing work that you're doing, and I know you could help a lot of people.
I think it's so cool. And,
it is so cool.
Isn't it? Yeah.